Hi, everybody. Welcome to Talking Heartland. Today, this is our new series that we are doing where we are going to try to cover the Heartland show. We did the pilot last week, and this week we are doing episodes 2 through 4, season 1. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Amy's here.
Hey, guys.
And Michelle's here.
Hey, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me to talk about this. And we're still kind of trying to figure out the show and how we want to cover it. It's so many episodes. So let us know what you think. We're decided to cover 3 episodes. And if you think that it is too many or it should be more, or however you feel about the coverage, we would love to hear your feedback. So we are starting with episode After the Storm, I think is what the title is. And we finished off last episode with the pilot with Amy getting back from the hospital, and then they're not going to put Spartan down because of their connection with her mom, and then the challenges between Lou and Amy, and Ty joining the ranch, and some other things. So in this one, the main plot kind of starts out with Lou sending a horse that they've been working on named Swallow back home too early. And she had thought that he was cured, I guess. And what Michelle, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that the start of kind of Lou and Amy's kind of disconnect kind of starts right off the bat. I mean, they're just completely not on the same page whatsoever. And it probably doesn't help that Lou hasn't been on the ranch as much, so she probably doesn't really understand how things work yet. But so she kind of jumped to like, let's send him home then very quickly. But
yeah,
I can understand why. Yeah, because we do see that Amy and Lou are just not seeing eye to eye.
Yeah. What did you think about that, Amy?
Well, yeah, it's kind of, again, kind of the beginning of Lou and Amy, like, kind of butting heads throughout this. And it also doesn't help that Lou, like Michelle said, hasn't really been around as much. And I don't think she understands that she has a teenage sister running a business. So when Amy says, "Oh, the horse is fine," and runs out the door, you have to think in like teenager speak and go, okay, what does that mean to the 15-year-old that's in front of me? Not necessarily, because like Lou's approaching it as like an adult business, and that's not how Amy ran it. That's not how her mom ran it. So like, I think it was a miscommunication, and also beginning of Lou having to understand like, hey, she is a teenager, this isn't how things were done, and we're gonna have to all adapt. So
yeah. And what are they trying to cure the horse of? She's
so she's fearful. Was it fearful of cars?
I'm trying to remember, because the red later on is afraid of water.
Yes. And then
I wasn't sure what Swallow was afraid of.
Oh, I cannot remember. I'm sorry. Michelle, do you?
Yeah, I think you're right. Because I think when Nick shows up, his is afraid of dogs. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it is cars. But he's bucking anyway. He's like bucking his rider off.
Yeah, because he bucked Ashley off.
Yeah.
So, or maybe it was loud noises. Maybe it was loud noises. Or something, because they got him trailered pretty easy. That's why I'm thinking cars may, I don't know.
Right, they got him trailered pretty easy.
Someone correct us.
And so you get a lot more Mallory in all 3 of these episodes. She's kind of tagging along, she's not related to them in any way, right?
She's like the classic neighbor character, I feel like, in old sitcoms that always shows up. Is kind of who I feel like Mallory is. Yeah. So
she just loves the horses.
Yeah, and her horse, Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe her horse does live at Heartland, right?
Yeah, he's stabled there, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay, yeah. And then they're trying to kind of convince or to talk to Amy into starting back up to the competition jumping, right? And I'm not sure which horse would she be. Would it be Spartan that she'd be doing that on, or?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she'd be jumping Spartan.
Yeah. And then, but she still has like basically like PTSD about the accident. Whenever she sees the farm, she has this like flashbacks, and she's still really struggling. And what did you think, Michelle, about how they portrayed that about her kind of PTSD?
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. You do get the sense that she is really suffering from PTSD. She just has triggers throughout the entire episode.
Yeah.
And those nightmares were really freaky. So yeah, you can understand how she's being triggered just by looking at a sign of the guy's name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then, like you said, the swallow bucks Ashley off.
Which is so funny.
She insists upon riding her. And yeah, Ashley is quite the villain.
Oh yeah, I love Cindy Bubsby as playing a villain. I wish she played the villain more on Hallmark, to be completely honest, because from this show, I'm like, she would do such a good job just being the other, or being the like bad woman of business or something in a Hallmark movie. I think she'd do such a great job at that.
That would be fun. I feel like the only time she's ever, I feel like there was a mystery where she was the murderer.
She has been in a lot of Hallmark movies, so I cannot
remember. Yeah. I can't remember which one. Let me look. But yeah, no, she is pretty fun as this sort of delicious villain. I mean, and she has done some of the Lifetime movies.
That are like murder.
Yeah, wrong daughter, and the Wrong movies are pretty hilarious over there at Haley Dean. It was a Haley Dean.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That she was the murderer, I think. And anyway, yeah. Do you like Michelle? Do you like Cindy as a villain?
It's pretty surreal because I have just watched her 2 Hallmark movies recently, so it's pretty surreal to kind of start with Ashley, then go to Hallmark, and then come back to this character. But she just looks like she's having a ball.
Yeah.
I just love the license plate. I'm not sure if it was in this episode or the next one. The license plate on our car says Hot Ash.
Yeah.
It kills me every time. I just laugh so hard.
Yeah. We get introduced to Nick Hartwell in this episode. It's the hottest jumper on the circuit. What do we think of Nick?
Well, he's the Green Arrow, but aside from that,
that just distracted me the entire time. I was like, he's Oliver Queen.
Yeah, it's Oliver Queen before he was Oliver Queen. Stephen Amell, like, I love Stephen Amell, and Michelle and I just followed each other on Twitter recently, and I saw you enjoy the DC TV shows as well. I was
you can say obsessed.
I was like, yay, there's someone else.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's so distracting.
I mean, some of these shows, it's just like, if you don't get into them soon enough, there's just so many seasons that it's overwhelming, and you can't. I feel like it's so hard to catch up. And I feel like that's the case with, I did watch Supergirl for a while, but then I kind of, once it moved to CW, I don't know. I just kind of lost interest, but yeah, we've got the Green Arrow here in Heartland, and he's the hottest jumper on the circuit. So,
now that Arrow's over, maybe he could do a little, another episode of Heartland, since Heartland's still on. I mean, fun.
It's true. It's true. We also have Val Stanton is spreading rumors. She's upset, and she's spreading rumors that they are not very good at curing horses, and that Amy does not have her mom's touch. And so we got some cattiness all around the
Val being Val.
And how is she related to Ashley?
That's her mom.
Her mom. Okay. Yeah.
Amy's ex-boyfriend that never appears again after the pilot. Or until like season 5 or something.
Oh yeah.
Val is the mother of them too. Even though we only see pretty much Ashley until first seasons, we don't see Amy's ex-boyfriend, I don't think, again until season 5.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought at first that there might be something between Jack and Val, but that seems to not be a thing.
Don't want to spoil it for you.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a bit of pressure, but they put under for Amy. I mean, for a teenage character to be running these, helping these horses, that she's supposed to be keeping up what her mom did.
Yeah. I kind of got the sense that Val was jealous of Amy's mum, that she kind of had this gift that Val can't seem to. She's more business minded, she could have all the money in the world, but she doesn't have the gift with horses that Amy's mum had.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Ty, he makes Amy this jumping horse. Ty makes Amy this jumping horse, and that was pretty cute. Did you like that?
Oh, I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cute. It was pretty cute. Yeah. So yeah, Ty's winning points over here, and we get to later on. We get to meet Ben. So then you have like the Ben versus Ty thing going on, and Ty's probation officer comes, and Jack signs the papers, and so he agrees to be the sponsor of Ty now that Marion is gone. And
which, Rachel, I have to tell you, Clint, which is Ty's probation officer, excuse me, I can't talk this morning. Clint shows up a lot throughout the entire series.
Ooh.
He does come back, and you won't see him for a season, and then he'll be back. So love Clint. He's my favorite Heartland character.
He's your favorite Heartland character?
I'm kidding, but he appears.
Yeah.
He'll be there, and I'm like,
oh, that's good. So what do we think about Ty? What do you think, Michelle?
He's a funny character, isn't he? He's such a tries to be a kind of bad boy, but it's just not in him. You kind of get that sense that it's just not in him. I feel like he's kind of wrestling with who he was before he came to Heartland and who he is now, and I think not having kind of a solid footing in Heartland yet, which I kind of get the feeling that he desperately wants, but you kind of see him kind of wrestling a bit with himself, giving into life at Heartland and kind of, I don't know, I'm sure his life before was full of kind of people letting him down and being disappointed in people and in himself. So yeah, I think it's just a lot of acceptance to come from Ty.
Yeah. And he seems like he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder, but I'm sure we're going to find out more about.
Yeah, he just complains about having to do all the work. That's his thing in these episodes.
Yeah.
Like,
do all the work, sleep in the barn.
Yeah, I wonder how big this house is, because it seems like they're able to have a lot of people. They're able to house a lot of people at this house.
The house is 4 bedrooms.
Oh.
Inside.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a barn room, and then later on they turn the attic into a room as well in the house. But that's down the line. But yeah.
Yeah, and so Amy has this dream, like you were saying, that she is Spartan. She literally dreams that she is the horse, and then she wakes up Ty in the middle of the night to try to help Spartan. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, that was interesting. And I do you think that they've done a good job of making Amy a likable character that we can relate to in these early episodes?
I don't know. It's a little rough with Amy because, you know, she tries to be an adult kind of from the get-go. Yeah. And I think that's hard with teenager characters. It's hard for teenager characters all across TV, let alone leading a TV show. So that there's definitely a lot of pressure on her as an actor and as the character. Yeah. Because she's got to be, I hate this term, but she's got to be likable. But that takes away, when you do that, it takes away a lot of complexity that makes her who she is. So yeah. It is rough with Amy. I do like Amy, but I can understand people being frustrated with her because she does act like a little adult when she is like 15.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Amy?
Her character, especially in the early, like these beginning few seasons, remind me a lot of the first few seasons. Well, or a little bit more towards the college years, I guess, of Rory Gilmore from Gilmore Girls. Kind of the attitude of a teenager, having, like Michelle said, having to be likable, unfortunately, but also like Amy can get a little frustrating at points, definitely. But she is a teenager with a ton of responsibility. Yeah. And yeah, but we see her grow a lot. Let's just go with that.
So far, there's not enough people kind of reminding her of that. You know, that she doesn't have to shoulder all of this responsibility. I get the sense that she kind of feels like Lou's about to leave at any point. So at the end of the day, she's going to have to shoulder the responsibility, and I think that comes through a lot as well.
Yeah, I mean, you figure Lou's her company must be pretty understanding where she's working from. She's been home for quite a while now, and so yeah, that's gonna be interesting how that all plays out. And I thought it was a pretty good line. Jack says to Val, he says, "It's kind of hard to sling mud and keep your hands clean." Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a pretty good line.
Grandpa Jack always coming in, saving the day. Yeah, he's got sass too. Yeah. He does.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We have episode 3, Breaking Free. And in this episode, it's all kind of revolving around this open house that Lou wants to hold for Heartland. Amy is against it, and she feels like they don't need it. So that's sort of where things kind of revolve around. Plus, Lou invites their father, Tim, to the open house, and the relationship between Tim and Jack is really bad. He evidently wasn't a very, very active father, and so Jack is very, very resentful of it. Chris Potter. You have Chris Potter playing Tim. What do you think about him as a character? Michelle and that relationship between Jack and Tim.
I mean, we don't get a lot of info on Tim until kind of the fourth episode, but he is really compelling right off the bat. It is a little, you do kind of side with him until you kind of find out more of his background, because it does kind of feel like he's not been given a chance to kind of explain himself or even have a conversation. It's just kind of Jack shutting it down. You know, he's not even willing to have a conversation. And, you know, I have to remember Amy was really young when he left, so she's got really no relationship with him whatsoever. So, I mean, I can understand where Lou's coming from, because she did. You know, and she doesn't remember the guy that Jack remembers.
Yeah.
She was like 14, I think, when he left. And Amy was 5. So, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Amy?
Sorry. He's a very interesting character, and we get the chance to like learn more in pieces and everything. But like Michelle said, I completely understand like the whole relationship thing, because Lou was young. She doesn't really remember necessarily what went on as much. Amy was super little, doesn't hardly remember at all. And Jack's the one who remembers but doesn't talk about it, so the girls don't know why. And that's what creates a lot of the friction. So
yeah, so Lou wants to hold this open house so that they can present themselves to the community and their services again, and Amy feels like, well, we don't need to, because look, I'm getting all these clients on my own.
Brought in like 2.
Yeah. I mean, I figure the way that I was looking, I was like, what's the harm? Why not do the open house? You know, why not have a party? But and I think Amy does eventually kind of come around to it. But Jack is upset with Ty because he's out on his motorcycle. And you see Ashley and Ty take a motorcycle ride, and so they're pretty. That's the rebellious thing. He's got a dirt bike kind of a thing.
Yeah, their little joyride on motorcycle.
I know.
What did you think? What do you guys think though of his excuse for riding the motorcycle?
What did he say? I forget.
He said that, well, that's my favorite type of bike. I had to do it.
Yeah.
His excuse.
You're like, there's not much there.
No, he's not the deepest of guys, is he?
No.
Yeah. So there's also veterinarian Scott that comes over because Pegasus, their mother's horse, is missing their mom and having a really hard time. And they put this I forgot to write it down, but they put a herb, an essential oil kind of thing in the horse's food to try to make them calmer. And some people say, oh, well, you're just drugging the horses. And so
that's Val's thing.
And but Vet Scott comes over for the horses, and I feel like you're getting a little bit of flirting between him and Lou.
Yeah.
But I liked Scott. I thought that he was cute.
Scott's great.
Yeah,
I'm Team Scott.
Yeah, me too.
Like he's a normal Nathaniel Arkin, this is the actor's name, and I thought that he kind of was like normal person cute. Like, you know what I mean? Like he looks like somebody that you could meet in regular life, but cute. So I like that.
I mean, you haven't seen him in the vet clinic when he's walking around holding, kittens and puppies. I'm like,
oh. And so yeah, I thought he did a good job. And so then we have Mallory is just kind of hanging around. She's watching Pegasus, and she kind of sort of feels ignored by everybody and getting frustrated.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What do you think? Do you find Mallory to be annoying, or do you like her character?
I like Mallory. She's sort of the comic relief. I can't say too much. You kind of get into kind of more why she kind of feels the way she does, and why she hangs around as much as she does. But yeah, that's her role. Her role is just to kind of, spout a few funny lines, kind of hang around.
Yeah.
Her crush on Ty is kind of hilarious.
Yeah. And so we have Val's horse is called Promise, and it does not want to be ridden.
Is it Promise is Lisa's horse, which is a different stable that's nearby. That's like a really rich person's stable that Lisa owns.
That's right.
And Lisa appears a lot more throughout the series. Like Lisa is the main character later on. And so Promise is one of her horses that she's just purchased, and she won't be ridden with a saddle because she was purchased from a blind owner. So
that's right. Yeah, and there's the Briar Ridge. Is the competing?
Is that Lisa's or
that's Val? Val is
Val.
Yeah. I didn't write down any of my Lisa's.
I can't remember. It comes back up. Like we go there a lot throughout the years.
But they're the kind of competition to the trying to train these horses. And yeah, this one is a rogue horse, as they say. Doesn't want to be ridden.
Yeah.
And so but Ashley is very kind of callous about the horse, and she says that what that horse needs is a bullet in its head.
So extreme.
And then Amy has a moment. There's I guess is it Lisa then? Was she the one with the blonde hair, or that Amy thinks is her?
Yeah, that's Lou's friend from high school.
The Amy thinks is her mom for a second, and they figure out that Pegasus will calm down if she wears her mom's jacket, because then she has the smell of her mom, and so Amy rides Promise bareback, and then she's able to add the saddle. And Val says that, you drugged Promise, and she's able to ride, and the
horse that Val brings. I can't remember what that horse's name was.
Yeah, but then Ashley gets bucked off, and then we get to the open house, and Tim shows up at the party. But it's just in the barn part of it, and him and Jack have a confrontation. And what did you think about that, Michelle?
Yeah, pretty intense. But again, it's just frustrating. It's like talk to each other. Like, yeah, you kind of get the sense that they're both just too stubborn to even give each other an inch. You just won't. Neither of them will kind of cave. So yeah.
Well, and it's weird because I'm so used to Chris Potter as just our friendly Jake from The Good Witch that
that's right. Yeah. I completely forgot that.
Yeah, that him having this sort of darker character is kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it's surprising, given what we know about Jack's character, that he would keep this all from the girls. I guess he says that he feels like he's protecting them, from their father. But we find out in the next episode that there's even been letters. He's been trying to communicate with them, and they have not. And so I think it's interesting. I mean, they got the family drama for sure in the show.
Yeah.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah. So that was this third episode. I thought it was a pretty good one.
I have one more thing to say.
Yeah, please.
Okay. The thing about this episode though too is we kind of get to see a little bit how Amy is like kind of smart, because I think with Promise, why did none of the other adults working with this horse think to, maybe call his previous owner and ask the question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Amy was like, the 15-year-old girl with the horse was like, well, yeah, duh, you're gonna ask.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the start of Amy kind of doing her kind of investigation. Every time she gets a new horse, she kind of does this thing where she kind of investigate the horse's history. This is the first time we kind of see her do that.
So our last episode we're going to talk about today is called Taking Chances. And so this one, it starts out with Amy and Lou kind of clearing out their mother's room. And that's when they find this letter from their father that they're trying to make a reconciliation, trying to be in their life, and so that their mother had not told them, and also Jack had not told them, and that is really tough, especially I think for Lou, and just to see how bitter Jack is towards Tim. And we also get introduced to Ben, and he, to me, it was very like the pretty boy at first.
Oh yeah.
And he has a horse named Red. And Michelle, what did you think about Ben?
Ben's the worst. Ben, I mean, he's a kid, right? But anytime he was hitting that horse, it was anything kind of beyond that. Asking me to kind of sympathise with him was a struggle. I just, and then immediately we'd cut to him kind of striking the horse again, and I was just like, oh God, this kid. Like, I can understand Ty's kind of frustration. I mean, he said you don't need to know about horses to kind of know that this is the wrong way to do it.
Well, and Ty's frustrated because Ben gets to be in the house immediately.
Yeah.
Is Ben related to them?
Ben is the nephew of Lisa, and Lisa is paying them to take care of Ben while Lisa goes to Europe, because she goes to Europe frequently.
Oh, okay.
So basically, Heartland is being the rich boy babysitter.
Okay, I was a little bit confused, but yeah. So Ty stays out in the barn. Ben gets to be inside the house, and so there's a real resentment there between the two, between him.
Yeah.
And he is really tough on his horse, and you find out later that Red is scared of water. And that he has this sort of I'll show him who's boss kind of tactic on his horse. And he just keeps whipping him and other things like that. And so then you also, I thought it was a nice scene between Ty and Jack when they go fishing, and he says he doesn't want to share it. You got to share with the new guy, kind of a thing. And I thought that was a pretty nice scene between them. And and I kind of like too, and Ty says, I don't know much about horses, but I do know an arrogant jerk when I see it.
Yeah.
So
Ty's very like, he tells it how he feels. He's like, this is how I see it. That's it.
Do we know what it is that he got probation for? What he was?
Not yet.
No, we don't know yet. Okay.
Actually, I don't even know if we find out in this season.
I don't know. We definitely get more backstory.
Yeah.
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 And Mallory does not like Ben. She says that he's being medieval.
Mm-hmm.
Things. And Tim, Lou talks to Tim, and Tim says that he's tired of waiting, that he wants to be a part of their lives, and he ends up finding Amy. Amy goes with Red, and she ends up getting bucked off, and she ends up hitting her head on the river rock, and so poor Amy has been through quite a bit.
We're 4 episodes in, and she's had 2 head injuries.
Yeah, I guess it's a good thing they have healthcare. They have healthcare in Canada, because she'd be pretty bad. Mm-hmm. And Ty, he's getting so frustrated he might go work at Briar Ridge. Mm-hmm. And you see him riding his motorcycle, his dirt bike, over. And Amy, she's out with Mallory, and then Mallory goes and gets help, and Tim finds her, and he ends up getting stuck in the river though. Yeah. And so and then you get a fight between Ty and Ben here, and we also start to learn more about Tim's kind of backstory. And it's not just that he was a negligent father, it's that he is an addict, former addict. Mm-hmm. He took painkillers and whiskey. Yeah. And so both Jack and their mom couldn't forgive him.
Well, yeah, because it started off with Pegasus and him were in an accident. And so he started using the painkillers as like a coping mechanism, and it got out of hand. And that's the reason, like, the girls thought that their dad had up and left them. They didn't know that Jack and their mom made him leave because they were afraid for the girls' safety because of his addiction. They didn't know that, and that's kind of part of the, like, that's why Amy and Lou are angry at Jack, because why did their mom or Jack never tell them about that? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, it's tough because people that it's hard to find that line between giving people that are addicts another chance and not enabling their behavior, because people that are addicts are often extremely manipulative, and so it can be a tough thing to figure out the best way to help people and like when to trust them again. That's not always an easy decision. Yeah. For them to be making. So I was pretty sympathetic there. And so Val offers Ty a job. Right? Mm-hmm. At their at Briar Ridge, and then Amy gets very upset with him about this. Yeah. And so we've got our I think they've done a pretty good job. I mean, it's only 4 episodes in of establishing that dynamic between Amy and Ty.
You can tell there's a little seed.
Little, yeah.
A little bit,
yeah.
And so then you have Val kind of finding out about Ty's past, and that he but you still have Jack being his sponsor. So what are they going to do? And
Val doesn't know yet he's on probation at this point, I don't think. That comes
just
a future episode. Yeah, just Ashley knows.
And so that's basically the episode. They lose Red for a while after he bucks Amy off, and then
well, that's the reason he bucks Amy off, is because they were looking for him. And they were going across the water. Red got scared. Red scared the other horses, and that's why Amy got bucked off of. Was she on Pegasus or Spartan?
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, Spartan, I think. Yeah, Spartan.
Okay.
Yeah, because Spartan stays with her.
Yeah, because Spartan got scared when Red got terrified of the water.
Yeah.
That's right. So
You mentioned this is when Ty first learns how to ride as well, because he rides Red back.
This episode with him in the little hat, and he's all like, "Horse riding for beginners, Ty."
Yeah. Yeah.
I love how Mallory was like, I'm his instructor, and was like, you have to wear a helmet when you're learning.
Yeah. He even wore his motorcycle helmet, so wasn't taking any chances.
And then the funny thing is, though, too, then at the same time, Amy, a very experienced rider, got a head injury.
Yeah.
In the same episode. We're like, maybe maybe everyone should be wearing helmets.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I guess especially if you're going to be taking these challenging horses, it's not like it's not like it's normal horses, but yeah. So our next coming for next week's episode, we will be talking about 5, 6, and 7 of the season. That's The Best Laid Plans, One Trick Pony, and Come What May. So that should be pretty fun. And let us know what you think of these episodes that we talked about today. And let us know how you would structure this show. Like, so we're just sort of starting it out as far as this podcast, and we're learning as we go. But we'd love to hear your feedback of the both episode and our discussion. We'd love to hear your feedback on that. And Amy, where can people find you?
You can find me YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at It's Amy Craig.
Great. And Michelle?
Twitter, Michelle R. Benson.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. I have over at my podcast, I was able to have film critics Christy Lemire and Mara Reinstein on my show, and so that was really exciting for me to talk about our experiences being a film critic. So check that out over there. And we have lots of good stuff going on at the Hallmarkies Podcast, so make sure you're following us on social media. And that if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. Helps us so much. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. It helps us so much when you do that. We have our merch store, which is really fun. So please check that out. And we also have our patron group. We have lots of fun stuff happening in the patron group. So please consider supporting the podcast. We appreciate it so much. And so thanks so much, you guys. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.